Today's video is inspired by my holiday nails that I didn't film, but I did recreate on a client that I'll tell you what I did in each step and show you the tools I used along the way. I even tell you a few things about my invention, so stay tuned. The salon was way too noisy the day I filmed her, so I had to take the audio off, but I'll put on some nice relaxing background music and tell you what I did each step. So here I'm using my gel remover tool to push back her cuticles because I just wanted to see how it worked and if I liked using it better than I like using my cuticle pusher. And it worked well. The next step is to remove her gel polish using my electric file and a carbide safety cone bit. I'm going to show you the first few fingers in real time, and then I'm going to go and fast forward for the rest of the fingers. You'll notice I have a system. When I remove gel polish, I go up the center, back and forth, left and right, and then once I get the middle part of the gel polish removed, I go to the left of the nail and then I go to the right of the nail to get off any little remaining bits. And you have to be very careful not to touch the natural nail with this carbide bit. You use very gentle pressure. You do not press onto the nail hard. You let the bit do the work, and then you move to the left and you're just kind of rubbing it off, and I have it on medium speed. Remember, my motto is real life, real situations for real learning. These are my real clients. This is what I do in real life every single day. My goal is to help you become a better nail technician, learn things that you can do to get your time down and to have better application and greater success and building a clientele while you do your nails. I bought a couple of dust extractors that I'm having built into a couple of tables, so pretty soon I won't have all of this dust flying all over the place. The next step is to shorten all of the nails with the e-file. She told me she glued her thumbnail back on, so we're going to clip this acrylic off completely so I don't even mess with shortening it. The next step is to blend the old acrylic with the nail plate and to lightly buff off any adhered skin that is on the nail plate. File the sidewalls a little bit, and you don't want to do too much filing of the sidewalls or shaping of the free edge, because after you put the acrylic on, you're going to do those steps. So you don't want to spend too much time doing that, because at the end it will all get perfected. All of my clients have their own nail file and their own buffer board, and I keep them in a container just for them. And when I feel like they're getting worn out, like I feel like this one is, I pitch that and I get a fresh file. I'm going to slow this part back down so you can see really well. When a client has a little bit of lifted area, it's much faster to take your nippers. You do not pry the acrylic up. Sit the nipper on the side and just squeeze, and it'll pop the lifted acrylic right off the nail plate. The acrylic is already lifted off the nail. It is not going to do any damage to the nail plate. The same goes for when somebody glues a fingernail back on. There's a layer of super glue in between the acrylic and her nail. So when you clip off the acrylic, it's not prying on her natural nail at all. You just take little tiny bites out of the acrylic and it pops right off the natural nail. And then we'll use a file to buff off that glue off the nail plate. The new acrylic will not have good adhesion if you don't get all of that glue off. So just lightly buff. You can tell where the glue is and where the nail plate begins. You can see by color and by feel. You'll see little lighter areas, white areas, so you'll know where that glue is. We have to get that glue off so the primer can go onto her nail plate. So she decides right when I'm getting ready to put the acrylic to do a fill that she'd really like the colored acrylic that I have on my nails. So now I have to go and thin out all of the regular acrylic that's on her nails, so when I apply the colored acrylic it's not super super thick. And here I'm using a safety carbide bit. Next we're going to dust off the nail plate really well and apply the primer. Now this colored acrylic I mixed. I used clear acrylic and a couple of different colors of red glitter and some red pigment. You just lightly place the bead on the nail and slowly press and tap the acrylic back to the cuticle line, to the sides, and up the nail plate. She wanted to do something a little bit different than I had on my nail, so we're going to ombre the fourth finger on both hands. So I'm going to put the red down first. I don't want it heavy at the tip of the nail because I'm going to put silver on it. And then I'm going to put a bead of silver at the top and blend it backwards. People are always asking me how in the world I can remove gel polish, fill acrylics, and repolish with gel polish all in 45 to 50 minutes. And a lot of it has to do with my invention, which is under this towel. And one of these days I'm going to show you because it keeps the client's hand in the exact position that I need it to be. There is no guesswork. She knows exactly where her hand goes, and when she gets out of position, it only takes a second for me to put her right back where I need her. There is no extra weight on my hand or on my body, and I am in the perfect position. I'm not leaning over my table, and it keeps me in perfect ergonomic position. So, a lot of the success that I have with my timing is from experience, but a lot of it is from my invention. So, I am working with a company to get it manufactured, and I do need to know how many of these I should have manufactured up front. So, if you're interested in having one of these devices, then you need to email me and tell me so I make sure to have enough of these manufactured up front. You can leave it in the comment section if you want, or you can send me an email at contact@themeticulousmanicurist.com. Here's a little example of bad client form. She's pressing on my fingers and I let go of her and I tell her, hey, chill out, put your finger back down, because she was so stiff, and she just dropped her fingers and down they went, and I can put my hand in my file right where I need it. While I'm filing the nail, I want you to stare at the surface of her nail. You can see the file makes file lines on the colored acrylic. You can see a little red spot right in the center left that still stays red. I know that that has not been filed yet, and it's got a little divot in it because it's still red. So I have to blend that acrylic until that all turns the same color, and I've just about got it. There. Now I've got it. Now I'll go to the other side, and I'm going to look down the barrel of the nail to make sure that my symmetry is just right, and then I'll move on to the next nail. Using the hand rest that I developed is really easy for the client to get used to, and they know exactly what to do. So before, when I said, hey, your finger's a little bit stiff, just let it drop. Now, after I'm finished filing her fingers, she just lets her fingers drop. I pick up the finger, I put the finger where I need it to be. None of the other fingers need to be involved. I've even had my clients have to see someone else when I'm on vacation or out of town, and they could not get in with one of the other nail technicians or wait so long, and they've had to see another nail technician. They come back saying, oh my gosh, I missed this hand rest so much I couldn't stand having somebody work on my hands without it. So it is beneficial for the client as well as for the nail technician, and I can't wait to show you my website for it that lists all of the benefits for both the client and the nail tech. Now I shouldn't be using this, I switch. I'm using my ceramic fine safety bit just to buff out all of the little file lines. If I put the clear gel polish on top of it, you probably wouldn't see them anyway, but just to be safe, I just want to refine it just a tiny bit. It's just on a low speed and just lightly buff across it to get off those lines. She goes to wash her hands off, and the last step, besides cuticle oil, is applying the clear gel top coat. This is an LED based top coat. Goes into the lamp just for 30 seconds to cure. I sit my lamp right in between her hands on the hand rest, and one hand at a time goes in. There's just enough room for her to still sit her hands on each side of the rest. So you can see me sit my lamp on the rest. The pink string is actually a piece of yarn that I acryliced on the back of it so I can hang my lamp on the wall so it doesn't take up any extra space. I hang it on my wall right next to me, and then when I need it, I pop it down and sit it on the rest, and then I hang it right back on the wall. And the last step is cuticle oil. And don't forget to leave me a comment and tell me if you're a nail technician and you're interested in ordering this, so I can make sure that I order enough of these. The more I have ordered up front, the lower that I can get the price point. And it's going to save you enough time in one day that you'll probably be able to get 2 to 3 more fills a day. I do 11 to 13 people a day in a 10-hour day. So depending on how many people you do a day and how you can get your time down, this is going to save you a lot of money. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to visit my channel. People like you are the reason for my success, and I appreciate it so much. But remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the latest videos. Remember, it is free, and I'll see you next time. Here are some other great video suggestions for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.